Hi, I'm Capt. Stanford with Texas Fish Tips this week. Fisher.
Over at the Fena docks early in the morning, if it's incoming tide, that water's clean. There's some really good fish right here. There's been some redfish. There's been some mangrove snapper, even a few trout. Croaker's a good way to go. Shrimp catches everything. You'll wind up catching a lot of ladyfish, and there will be 1,001 of those, even some bluefish mixed in there. But croaker or piggies will work the best. Cut mullet works on some of the redfish, but they want that shrimp. Now, if you get on out into these jetties, it's been a little calmer last couple of days. It was pretty windy, but now it's a little bit calmer. You can get out here, and there's some good fish at the end of those jetties. There's some redfish. There's some trout. There's mangrove snapper. There's still some kingfish around. We're still seeing a few tarpon get on the inside of this north jetty, on that north side. You don't have to go all the way in the jetties. But about where that third bar is, there's been some good fish right about here. We're catching just about everything on shrimp. Use your croaker or piggies, either one. Or the best thing is if you can get you some live finger mullet. If you can catch them right there with the cast net right next to the rock, that is the best bait to have. But there's a lot of good fish. There's still fish in the surf all the way down through here, but you have to be careful when that wind is not too high. If it is, just back off and get right back in this little pocket right in here, and there'll still be some fish. But the better fish is on further down, out in front of the Palapa down through here, or through these holes in the dunes where Hurricane Harvey made. But it's all been good down through here. It's also a lot of sharks in here, a lot of bonnethead sharks, Atlantic sharpnose. There's all kinds of them, and they'll eat just about anything. And they're in that first gut. All right, good old Ellen's about all down through has been holding some nice redfish along this bank. Out a little deeper is where the trout is. And there's been some good ones that are right out here for wade fishermen right in here. Right up on this bank on this point, if you don't park your boat in the middle of them, there's redfish. Cut ladyfish has been my favorite go-to bait. Cut mullet works good too. If you come on back here in Allen's About, there's a little old fish house right about here. There's been some black drum hanging in there. They like it dead shrimp. You can use live shrimp, you get a lot of perch. But if you use dead shrimp, you don't get near as many perch and you get more black drum. And there's been some good ones in there as well. And there's still some redfish all back in through here. Just anywhere through these pockets, cut mullet is the best way to go. Now, if you want to get some on here and go to quarantine shoreline, anywhere down through on outgoing tide, there's been some good redfish right up on that bank. Because they're migrating, they're coming right down through here and going with that current. There's also some trout through here. If you want to use some artificials, get right down through here, get your jig heads and your rubber worms and get after it. There's been some all good fish right down through here. Along the shoreline right down on Brown Root Flats, this edge right down through has been holding some nice redfish. Deeper waters catches some nice trout, but them redfish like that mullet or cut ladyfish. Now, if you get on back in this little Y channel right down through here, there's been some redfish on the edges. You can get in deeper water, pitch up on the edges, or get up on this side, either one. There's been some black drum as well. There's redfish, drum, and we've even caught a few trout out of there, and some nice ones too, all on cut ladyfish. But come on out here and get on down through these rocks there at Pelican Island. Right here has been holding some nice trout. That water clears up. The ships ain't blowing by trying to kill you, but they work pretty good. Also, there's a big pile of rocks right here on this end of the Pelican Island as well. Croaker and piggy perch and live shrimp has been catching your trout. Over by Shamrock Island, we've been catching some good trout on croaker. I've been catching some on shrimp. There's also a few redfish mixed in there. If you throw right up on those rocks, there'll be some mangrove snapper and a few black drum. It has been a bit too windy and a little bit too darker water this week, but this weekend is supposed to clean up a little bit, and there's still some trout on these wells out here. Just pick a well and go for it. There's all kinds of wells out here, and there's lots of trout. Some will hold trout, some will not. Now, get over here in this bridge, going to Oasis Bay right in this area. In the shadow of that bridge, be careful. There's some pylons in the middle of there, but there's also a lot of black drum. We catch a few trout mixed in there, a few reds, but a lot of black drum. They like that dead shrimp versus that live.
I'm Capt. Stanford.